What is up, my friends? Welcome to another Monday video here on CoolStuffInc.com. We got a kind of wacky one for you today. We are going fast. That's right, we are going fast with a 4-color Pioneer Ensoul Artifact deck. I found this deck in the 5.0 deck dumps on Magic Online, and it's just a really, really aggressive version of Ensoul Artifact. Now, these Ensoul Artifact decks have been floating around in Pioneer since almost the very beginning. Ensoul Artifact, of course, a lot of power in one card. 2 mana, turns any artifact into a 5/5, which is significant. And kills really, really fast alongside Shrapnel Blast, dealing all these damage in chunks of 5. Well, it adds up pretty quick. And usually these decks are Izzet, and they're usually a little bigger than this. But this is a really aggressive, really low-to-the-ground version of a deck. We're playing Ornithopter and Springleaf Drum, similar to modern affinity decks, playing Gingerbrute, Bomat Courier, Hope of Ghirapur, Stonecoil Serpent. Very, very low curve. I've spread the curve out because there's so many 1s and 2s that's not really a curve as much as just 2 columns. And we're also abusing the fact that Spire of Industry, a land we'd probably play anyway, and Springleaf Drum tap for any color of mana. So rather than being straight Izzet, we're actually playing 4 colors here. So we have white for all that glitters, 2 mana aura. That's kind of like a super cranial plating. Higher risk, obviously, because if the creature dies, well, you lose the aura. But enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control, which is pretty awesome. So between Ensoul Artifact and all that glitters, we've got a lot of power coming across on turn 2. A bunch of cheap creatures, Shrapnel Blast, only 18 lands and 4 drums, so very, very light. And to support the splash, we have all of our 5-color lands. We have Springleaf Drum, of course, and Spire of Industry. And then we have Mana Confluence, which is a little painful, but, you know, we're going to be killing our opponent pretty quick, hopefully. And then 4 copies of Aether Hub, which in this deck is essentially just Tendo Ice Bridge, or Nintendo Ice Bridge, as it was referred to back in the day. Just a colorless land that you can use once for a color. And don't have that many colored cards in our deck, so shouldn't be too hard to cast all of those with 16 sources here of any color we want. Now, Bomat Courier is a little bit of card draw. Emry can provide a little bit of extra card advantage as well. But for the most part, we're a running gun, go nuts, kill your opponent deck. A couple Hope of Ghirapur, which can actually combo with Emry for a little bit of a soft lock. 2 copies of Steel Overseer for a little extra oomph. But aggro through and through, finish you off with Shrapnel Blast. And then a little interaction here in Metallic Rebuke. Now, the sideboard is where things get interesting. There are more black spells in the sideboard than there are red and white cards in the main deck. So we get to board 4 Thoughtseize for your combo matchups. And obviously Thoughteize is very, very good with such a fast clock. And then 4 Fatal Push for your creature matchups. You know, one of the better removal spells in the format. And we get 4 of them. Easy to cast because, again, all of our mana sources tap for any color. So you can even play green cards if you want to. I'm not sure if there's any green cards you want to play. But 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Fatal Push, then a couple other good cards as well here. A couple Rebukes. And 1 Dispute. A little extra counter magic, obviously very good in these sorts of decks. A couple Hangarback Walkers for your grindy matchups. And then 1 Damping Sphere and 1 copy of Shadowspear. Very good card against mono red. So, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, this was 5.0 to League on Magic Online in the hand of Miss Teachings. So, didn't change any cards. I think it's good to take the list you see that look pretty cool. Just play them through at first as is. You know, the person who 5.0 with the list, well, they've played it more than you have if you haven't played it yet. So we're going to leave the list as is and battle. But first, quick word from our sponsor here at CoolStuffInc.com.
This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. To learn more about this deck, click the link in the video's description below to read Jim's article.
All right, here we are, round 1, 4-color Ensoul. Let's battle. And, well, that's basically our deck right here. 1-drops and multicolor lands. We're going to keep this. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Bomat Courier is a card that I love. I'm a huge Bomat Courier fan, and one of the things... Spider-Man meme. You? Me? What? Looks like we're playing a mirror. Okay. But yeah, Bomat Courier, not a little less good with that removal, but we dump our hand really fast too, so... Oh, Ensoul Artifact's pretty cool. Don't necessarily want to put Ensoul Artifact on Bomat Courier, though, because I would like to sacrifice it at some point. But I also want to get the Courier going, so kind of an interesting spot here, where I'm almost a little more interested in Gingerbruting. The unblockability on Gingerbrute also plays very, very well with Ensoul Artifact. I think we're going to be doing that, actually. Raging Goblin Tribal. We'll see if they have their own Ensoul Artifact. All right, so yeah, it looks like we're playing a mirror here to start off. And yeah, they seem to have the better cards than we do on the play. Oh, same cards as us, but we have the better cards. So we have our own Ensoul Artifact, and we have Gingerbrute, which is unblockable. And they shocked. They're at 12. And next turn we get to go blocker, which is pretty cool. Let's see what they have here. Oh, well, that certainly changes things. Now we probably have no way to win. I'm a big fan of Shadowspear. I think playing one in the main deck is very, very reasonable. But now the other thing has lifelink and trample, and we are totally dead. Even a Shrapnel Blast would not save us now. So I guess we're going to our next game. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good draw. One drop Ensoul into Shadowspear. Definitely could see playing Shadowspear in our deck. It looks like they're not playing our exact deck. So it's a mirror in the sense that they're playing Ensoul Artifact, but not a mirror in the sense that they're playing all these fancy lands. They're just playing straight blue-red. So let's see here. Metallic Rebuke seems, honestly, on the play, Rebuke is not a bad way to stop some stuff, but it is pretty awkward. I honestly might be more interested in Mystical Dispute, because Mystical Dispute can counter Ensoul Artifact, as well as the 1/3 creature that is basically just an Ensoul Artifact. And Rebuke is like, everything in the deck costs 1 and 2. It seems really hard to leave that up on turn 2 or 3. Let's bring in the Dispute and the Shadowspear. Want to leave in Blasts, want to leave in Souls, want to leave in All That Glitters. All That Glitters should be very, very good against them in theory. I guess Fatal Push is also pretty good. That actually gives us an answer to an Ensoul Artifacted creature. It might even be better than the cards we're bringing in. Actually, I should probably bring these in. It's weird seeing the off-color cards, but yeah, we don't actually want Dispute. Don't think you want Emry either. The Blasts are weird. They're very good when you're racing. And it's weird because we're sideboarding in a mirror, but they're not going to have Fatal Push because they're just playing blue-red. So we're going to have an advantage in that we can kill their Ensoul Artifact creature and their large creatures in general. And we are cutting... There's also a critical mass issue of like not wanting to cut too many artifacts. I think I kind of want to cut Shrapnel Blast. I think the game's going to be more about playing to the board than a burn spell finish. Yeah, we're going to try this. I'm not super thrilled with Hope of Ghirapur, but just having creatures early seems important. And also having an invasive body to put Ensoul Artifact on or All That Glitters on is pretty good. In theory, we should have an advantage here because our All That Glitters are essentially just extra copies of Ensoul Artifact. And then we have Fatal Push, whereas they shouldn't have ways to kill the artifacts. I guess maybe a Braid, but blue-red doesn't deal with a 5/5 very well. And this hand is wild. Yeah, we're keeping this one. So we have the really good Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter opening. Opponent mulligans to 6. So looking pretty good here. We're going to Darksteel Citadel. Putting the Ensoul Artifact on Darksteel Citadel is very, very live here. And I guess we're going to Ghostfire Blade too. We could leave up Fatal Push, but I think I'd rather just play the Blade. Want to use Push after Ensoul Artifact comes down. Such a Bomat Courier, which is fine. Stonecoil Serpent. I mean, that makes putting the Ensoul Artifact on a land a little awkward. I mean, it's a big question here. Do we want to put the Ensoul Artifact onto the Ornithopter, which has evasion, or in the indestructible Darksteel Citadel? So it can't be abraded, and honestly, probably can't be stopped. I think I want to put it on the Spire. I mean, the Citadel. So tap a blue and Ensoul it up here. Pretty good turn two. Pretty good turn two. Doesn't jive insanely well with our Stonecoil Serpent, but as they have a Ghostfire Blade, and your 3/3 don't beat my 5/5 friend, and a Bomat Courier. So we're just gonna Courier, put the blade on the Courier. Putting it on the Ornithopter is obviously not, it's definitely fine, but this is more damage in the short term, and we can always move it to the Thopter later. And we're stealing 8 here. This is turn 3, and they're already at 7 life. So pretty good with a push backup. Ghostfire Blade number 2. So Ghostfire Blade is good, don't get me wrong, but does not line up with Citadel. So Shadowspear. I think I would like to conceal the fact that we're playing Fatal Push. I can't actually equip this though. So we could just throw the Ghostfire Blade on the Citadel and just like kind of keep playing. Like, obviously we have lethal here right now, but they're not going to think we have Fatal Push, and we're so far ahead this game, we might actually be able to just like sneak it through. We can just force a chump block. Like we're so far ahead here, but I'm actually just going to play just going to move the Ghostfire Blade to the Citadel, make them chump block it, get through Courier for the turn, and we'll play Shadowsphere. I think that should be enough to win the game. Scoop leg? Scoop leg. Sweet. So this is it's a small point, but if you're able to conceal an amount of information at an extremely low cost, like I think by not going for the kill this turn, we're still like 99% to win this game. That's worth it because they don't really know our deck. We are playing Spire of Industry, and they saw Aether Hub, but they don't know we're playing Fatal Push, which is a huge blowout card. They're not going to expect us to be able to kill a 5/5 creature out of nowhere, and we will be able to do that, which is pretty good. So now we're on the draw, and could hear an argument to slow down a little bit on the draw, but I don't think that really stands. I think I still just want to keep this as is. You could bring in like an Emry maybe, but that's still lowering our artifact count. If we cut an artifact for it, I think 2 blast for push feels pretty nice. Yeah, this is fun. Emry's pretty good, but definitely feels like it's going to be mostly a race, and it seems like we have the better tools to race, again, with our extra Ensouls and our hard removal that they don't have access to. All right, opponent plays first and mulligans, and we have pretty medium hand here. Double Mana Confluence, not great for the mirror, obviously. We do have 2 flyers and a Ghostfire Blade, which is pretty good. It's only 3 total power, I suppose, but I made Fatal Push, so our hand is certainly okay. The fact that we have effectively 7 Ensoul Artifacts is pretty appealing. If we just draw one of them, we're in great shape. And our opponent mulliganed. I think we're going to keep. It's not really great, but opponent mulliganed. We have the push. If they go turn 2 Ensoul and we push their creature and 2-for-1 them on their mulligan on the play, I think we're going to be in really, really good shape. So, on 6, Bomat Courier again. So 6 cards on the play of Bomat Courier is pretty good. So I would like them to fire up the Ensoul next turn. Alright, so we're going to Spire, and we're just going to Hope an Ornithopter. Stonecoil's not bad, because we have, 3 lands is almost flooding in this deck, so play Hope, play Ornithopter, and say go. Spire number 2. Play Ensoul Artifact. Play Ensoul Artifact. Red. Wild Slash My Hope. So that's a 1-for-1 exchange of material. I don't necessarily hate that. Because they mulligan to 6 on the play. But now the Courier needs to be checked pretty closely here. Alright. We don't want them to gain advantage off this Courier, which is currently a draw 3. We could leave up push and kill it. I really want to snag an Ensoul Artifact off the push. I think we're going to be greedy for one more turn. Just Gingerbrute Ghostfire Blade. Definitely taking a risk here, but if they're able to empty, if they had other things to play, they would have played it this turn most likely. What is this? Stubborn Denial? Okay, that is really bad. I suppose I am not smart for not playing around that. If I had cast the Blade first, obviously, and now they're down a card too for Bomat Courier, that was exceptionally bad for us. It's not a card in our deck, so I was not really thinking about it when I should have been. Please play Ensoul Artifact. Red again? Wild Slash the Ornithopter. I mean, these sorts of 1-for-1 trades are sort of fine for us. Alright. They don't seem to have a land. So we can kill the Courier and be okay with this? Okay. Alright, so we get to kill Courier here, and they have a Hope and a card. If that card is Ensoul Artifact, they are very good, and I have a lot of respect for them. But we're going to play... I guess we'll attack with the Brute. Definitely don't mind trading here, because I'm scared of Ensoul Artifact either in their hand or off the top. And we have Stonecoil Serpent behind, so... Kind of a weird game because they're down 2 cards because of the mulligan being on the play. But we've drawn 2 Ornithopters, so it's felt kind of even. And also one more land. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. That's fine. We're not going to Stonecoil Serpent because I want to make it bigger next turn. And we're going to kill their Bomat Courier. So they are out of gas. They got 1 card in hand and the card they just drew. And we have a Stonecoil. If we draw a land, we can play a bigger Stonecoil, but drawing a spell is also nice. So, okay. I guess they don't have any colored mana right now, which is also a thing. So we're just gonna rip this Ensoul Artifact. Honestly, yeah, they have no colored mana, so don't see how we get punished here. Spire of Industry is very good, but this also might be scoop lag. Magic Online really takes the drama out of the end of a game. You know, where you're just, okay, here's my Ensoul Artifact, and just hangs. So they can see, but it takes like 8 seconds to register it for some reason, because it's just Magic Online being Magic Online. So you're like, are you dead, or is this, are you thinking about something? So if you're thinking, it means you're not dead, but you're not thinking, just a little scoop lag. So pretty good round there. The push could have been a Wild Slash, I suppose. Didn't really have an effect on the game specifically, but you can see in the matchup how it would have a very grand effect on Ensoul Artifact. You know, that game they just scooped to Ensoul Artifact on the Ornithopter because they probably don't have many answers, realistically. Maybe in a braid or two. You know, I don't really know what the current stock Is It Ensoul list looks like, but alright, so Hub, Confluence, Drum, Thopter, Brute, Blast. It's pretty good. Blast is a weird card where you draw a lot of them, and they're good, but they're also bad, because it slows your hand down. But in this space, it looks pretty good, so we have turn 1 Gingerbrute. Alright, second Drum, not nearly as good as the first Drum, but let's give him the Brute. some sort of Dimir deck. Could be Inverter. Could be Sultai. Thoughtseize. And we got to cast 2/5 of our Shrapnel Blast. But unfortunately, our hand is pretty soft removal, and we got a Grixis deck here. So Grixis decks tend to beat up on decks like ours because, frankly, they just have a lot of removal, and we have creatures. So we're going to see what we can do here with our Brutes. As we said, the second Springleaf Drum, not really that good, but we have Blast up, so a little Raging Goblin action. This is a matchup where all that glitters is going to be really bad. We'll see. Need to know a little more about their deck here. Good mana draw. Jeez. Perfect mana. No shocking. Just this kind of ugly looking Thoughtseize. Kolaghan's Command is legal in this format, right? It's a card. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, Jim, nice 1/1s. Oh, what are we going to do here? I think we have to Shrapnel Blast the Liliana of Last Hope, which just feels awful, but that card is really good against our X1s, so unfortunately this is our life right now. Not a great exchange. Oh, cool. It's a pretty good draw. Alright. Riding It Lives, of course. Only have one Emry in the deck. It's definitely very good against removal, obviously. Suppose it's worth it to play the other drum. So they could play Scrappy Scrounger. It's definitely a lot of interesting synergy with Scrappy Scrounger and Emry. And Scrounger would be phenomenal in a matchup like this. That's a possible sideboard option, honestly, or main deck option. Just play some Scroungers. You know, if these all that glitters were Scroungers, a matchup like this swings by a very large amount. All right, that's also a very good card against us. Yeah, I mean, Grixis decks tend to be absolutely slam-packed with removal. So, not exactly putting up a huge amount of offense here. With our double Gingerbrute, Ornithopter, double Drum Draw. That can't be good. Shocking in the 5th land. Glory Banger. Oh boy. Yeah, I think we're in trouble here, folks. They're going to kill my Brute. What are we drawing here that gets us out of this? I guess all that glitters is okay. It's definitely not Aether Hub. It's definitely not Aether Hub. And drawing running Shrapnel Blast is impossible because we actually have 3 in our graveyard, so definitely a pretty big cost playing Ornithopter. It's funny, I think back to my Loxobots deck, and I wonder if this deck wants Venerated Loxodon. You know, there's your Bone Crusher Giant. You know, just looking for more ways to make Ornithopter better. Could also play just the white cards. You know, there's a Tool Card Exemplar, and all right, well, pretty sure we cannot beat a Grixis deck if we draw 3 drums, because it doesn't really, 3 drums and 3 land is pretty brutal. So, Glorbanger untaps next turn. We're dead in 2 swings. Not looking too good, but yeah, Venerated Loxodon is a really cool card. That's able to really, push a board with 1-drops, easily can cast Loch on turn 3 for a monstrous board, make Thopter better, things like that. So, all right, we're bringing in our Thoughtseizes and our Hangarback Walkers and maybe some number of Rebukes. And we definitely want to cut all the glitters. And I'm also pretty unenthused about Shrapnel Blast, even though it's like a cool finisher. If they kill my stuff, it's just not going to get there necessarily. I think cutting a Mana Source is also reasonable. Maybe like a Drum. That's 4. I'm not sure if you want all these Rebukes, honestly. Blast does kill Glorybringer, but yeah, it comes down to basically how many blasts do we want. There is certainly a lingering, as you saw in that game, even if drawing 2 blasts, we had 2 blasts and 2 1/1s, and the blasts just don't really. You got to have a good start for them to be reasonable. It's a very weird card where it's insanely good sometimes and then kind of mediocre sometimes. They saw a lot of them that game too. I feel like I'm almost interested in just taking them out and being a sort of Delvery deck almost, where we're just going to have, the Rebukes and the Thoughtseizes and a very fast clock and just try and, Thoughtseize a spell here, counter a spell there, and just kill them. I am definitely not sure if this is correct or not, but let's give it a spin. Ensoul Artifact is not going to be awesome because they have Fatal Pushes most likely, but we get it onto a Citadel, they probably can't stop that, and we can try and use Rebuke to defend it as well as Thoughtseize. So the heavier rule matchups are definitely not super ideal. I mean, well, do they have mass removal in their deck? We're just going to keep this. Let it ride. We can fire up an Ensoul if we're feeling frisky, but Courier's very good on the play. Get a lot of cards back. Definitely not Ensouling on 2. Just walks in the Fatal Push, I think. So, just use these Couriers. Put them all into 6. Not a bad sign for us. Watery Grave, Shock, go. So assuredly Fatal Push. So let's give him the business. You think 1 Bomat Courier is good? Let me tell you, my friend, about 3 Bomat Couriers. So this one's going to die. We'll have 2 Couriers with 1 card each. Good mana. And stomp another Courier. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I almost think we're just going to fire this off immediately. We're just going to go... We can do everything, actually. We're just going to put the Ensoul Artifact on the Citadel, even though we can't attack with it yet. Once it's like that, I don't think they can remove it, honestly. So, get a blue. So now I got to deal with the Courier and the Citadel. Courier, of course, is now on 2. And get to untap with it and play a land. It feels really, really good for us. Love to draw some cards. So that's great. That's actually excellent for us. We'll love to draw a 1-mana spell. Or a 0-mana spell. Play Confluence, play Thopter. We're just going to smash everything. They'll block the Courier. We'll draw 3. And see if we can find a little bit of interaction to close this game out. Draw. Hangarback Walker, Ornithopter land. So we'd love to find a Rebuke there. That's the ideal play. Now, if I sack this, they can't cast non-creature spells until my next turn. Don't think that's really a thing we want to be doing. Hanging back on 1 is fine, and then do you hold the Ornithopter or just play it? I don't really see a benefit to playing it. Any equipment could just go on this Ornithopter. Yeah, I'm just going to hold it. They have some sort of mass removal, like Anger the Gods, something like that. Fabled Passage. Again, I don't really think they have an answer to Darksteel Citadel. Ensoul Artifact. Ghostfire Blade. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Live by the blade, die by the blade. I think we're looking at some scoop lag here, folks. Alright, sweet. So we drew 0 Thoughtseize and 0 Rebuke that game, which is definitely interesting. Now, I think on the draw, we definitely don't want Shrapnel Blast because we're not even pushing damage that fast. So we're going to lean on our Rebuke and Thoughtseize a little bit more. We're going to have the extra card, which is it's not necessarily ideal, but it's just a thing we need to factor into our sideboarding. So yeah, again, I think like kind of the one drum. Ornithopters so far have been a little medium. Once the glitters come out, they do feel a little bit worse. But definitely need to draw a Ghostfire Blade or an Ensoul Artifact to make them good. There's no, unlike Affinity in Modern, there's no Cranial Plating, there's no Ravager, things like that. So, all right. Speaking of Ornithopter, here they are. This is a interesting one. Opponent mulligans to 6 again. We have a spell-dense hand, but 2 of them are Ornithopters. Ghostfire Blade is definitely very good. Brute is good. I would say Overseer is not very good. It's probably just going to die. And then Ensoul Artifact it's okay. It can be iffy. Not on a Citadel, but I think we're going to keep this. Steam Vents tapped, go. Okay. Bomat Courier is phenomenal. Love it. And we're going to play 1 Ornithopter in case we would decide we want to equip Ghostfire Blade. Oops. That'd be a pretty bad no attack there. Gotta shove it in the red zone. They draw a lot of these buddy lands. And they're saying go. So, ooh, that's a really good one. Okay, so we would love to put Ensoul Artifact on this Darksteel Citadel. So, we're going to play... I guess we're just going to attack. I think resolving Ensoul Artifact on Citadel is the most important thing we can do in the entire matchup. Alright. They're not going to kill that. Which feels bad. And now we can play Overseer, which is almost assuredly going to die. Really hoping they would kill that and tap down a little bit. We can play. Playing the Brute now doesn't make it, or the Ghostfire Blade now doesn't make a lot of sense. Just go for the Overseer, I guess. It's just definitely going to die, but these cards basically every card I have basically has haste except for Ornithopter. But oh god, don't have Anger the Gods. No, all right, stomp. All right, not ideal, but that's excellent. We got our window. Not even sure they're playing counterspells or not, but want to be aware of things. So, okay, we're just gonna get the blue Ensoul and play from there. Basically, safely get Ensoul Artifact onto our Darksteel Citadel. That's our plan. We're certainly flush with resources right now, so losing the land kind of sucks, but it's a pretty interesting attack. That card's good. Okay, Kalidas is very good, and Thoughtseize comes a turn late. We can't even cast it. Alright, that is not ideal. And I think we are in trouble. Because we don't have any answers to that card at all. Took our Shrapnel Blast out. That card was not really on my radar. And honestly, we have 4 Thoughtseize and 4 Dispute to deal with it anyway. It's a sorcery speed 4-mana card. But alright. Send in our Citadel. Don't think playing Gingerbrute is effective here. Just play the Ghostfire Blade. Obviously makes chump blocking really bad too, so they've got a pretty significant clock here. Yeah, the Kalidas throws a wrench in basically everything. Otherwise, this Citadel felt pretty unstoppable, but they can just race it with Kalidas, and that basically invalidates it. Also turns off our Hangarback Walker for making tokens. Oh my god, Kolaghan's command too? Well, I think that's the end, folks. Yeah, Affinity does not beat Grixis. That's a tale as old as time, realistically. Even without Kolaghan's command, strategically they just have too much removal for us. But with Kolaghan's command too, I mean, hard to imagine a more backbreaking card. We'll keep battling. You know, we do have this Citadel lined up, but it's not looking too good. I get to pump through Kalidas next turn also. Two cards left. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we just can't beat a 5/6 Kalidas. Not attacking zombie means they probably have a big play this turn. No? Alright. Well, we are dead. Yeah, I mean, Grixis decks just crush synergy-based aggro decks like this because all of our cards are individually weak. If you can pick apart the pieces, it's pretty tough. You know, they have good answers to Ensoul Artifact and Fatal Push, Kolaghan's Command, Kalidas, just a lot of really good really good tools against us, which is, you know, just a matchup. It is what it is. I haven't seen a Grixis deck like that really in a while. Just like a fair Grixis deck. But yeah, we were going to need to rely on Rebuke and Thoughtseize there, and unfortunately did not pick one up in a reasonable time frame. So, all right, let's try again. Round 3. We've drawn one of our Rebukes, as well as a double 1-drop Stonecoil hand. We're on the draw. We can keep this hand. It's not amazing, but again, we have 7 Ensoul Artifacts, not 4, so irrigated farmland. Alright. So, probably looking like a blue-white control deck. Emry? It's pretty good, actually. Just going to give him the Brute. Of course, Supreme Verdict's going to be our enemy here. And we cannot counter that one with Metallic Rebuke, which is not ideal. But definitely think Ensoul Artifact is pretty poor against them. They have Teferi to bounce it and seal away Azorius Charm. Doesn't really line up well against their removal. Thankfully, Emry is pretty good. They can't really remove it. I guess they can seal away it, but can't like Azorius Charm it, stuff like that. Oh, really? Really? That's how it's going to be? It's going to be a main deck Mystical Dispute? That's real bad, folks. That's real bad. Getting to play a 1-mana Mana Leak in game 1 is pretty good against our strategy. Yeah, we might be in trouble here, folks. They get a Dig Through Time. Still legal in Pioneer. Alright, Shrapnel Blast seems good here. We're just going to crank up a Stonecoil for 3. We'll attack Narset for 2 so they can't draw another card off of it. And if he gets Supreme Verdicted, there's not really a lot we can do, honestly. And we're getting Supreme Verdicted. Yeah, that's a pretty good start from our opponent there. No lie. Now, Stonecoil Serpent's pretty cool because it can't be bounced by either Teferi, can't be Detention Sphered, can't be Azorius Charmed, which are all reasonably desirable things. We're just going to crank it. We could try and leave up Metallic Rebuke, but it would require casting it for like 1, which is pretty bad, so we'll just ship it. And they're still at 18 life. Oh boy. It's funny, it's not often you ask where the combo decks are at, but I think those are the decks we kind of want to play against. Alright, they have 4 cards in hand, including a Dig Through Time. And they have Seal Away. Oh boy. Well, folks, I think we are in big trouble again. Main phase Illumination. We're not going to rebuke that. Alright. I mean, again, it's not really ideal in that they have many, many answers to it. And it looks like we can't... Yeah, we're actually 1 short of being able to defend it with Metallic Rebuke. Oh, man. Pretty sure we just got to ship it here. Please don't Azorius Charm me. Oh, man. Yeah, this one doesn't seem very good either, honestly. Now I have to draw Darksteel Citadel. That's just unbelievably devastating. So they're going to try digging. We're going to counter it. Oh, they're going to Sphinx's Rev for 4. They still have Dig Through Time in hand and 2 other cards. And we've got no clock, and they're at 18. Alright. Pretty tough game there. They had the Dispute for the Emry, the Wrath for our board, the Charm for our Ensoul Artifact, Seal Away for our Stonecoil Serpent, Seal Away Azorius Charm, Teferi, make Ensoul Artifact a real risky proposition. It's no good. We're going to bring in our Thoughtseizes, our Hangarback Walkers, which aren't even that good, actually. They're only good against Wrath. They're bad against every other piece of removal. Maybe we don't even want those. And bring in the Dispute and the Rebukes. Cutting all Vic Litters. Other cards don't seem good are Thopter, Drum, and Ensoul Artifact. I might be interested in just cutting the Thopters altogether. I actually don't mind the Shrapnel Blasts because I think that cheesing them out with Blast is pretty good. And then the Drum is just like part of our mana base. I don't think we can really afford to remove that. But the Thopters just kind of get swept up by Wraths and don't do a ton. And I don't want Spear. Again, I don't think I want Hangarback Walker. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to leave the Ensouls in. We have the, we have Rebukes and Disputes and Thoughtseizes to try and push them through. Mutavault should be good here too. I haven't drawn one of those yet. Let's try that one again. All right. 6 keys. No. Think we're in trouble. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess if this is an Ornithopter, we could ask them like you, but there's no Mox Opals. All right. Well, about this hand here. Goodbye Drum. Goodbye Citadel. Goodbye. I guess we're just gonna honestly just put the Soul Artifact on the Serpent on turn 2, and it does dodge Teferi and Azorius Charm, and just pray that kills them. So keep Mutavault, and we'll just say a little prayer here, because as far as 4-card hands go, I mean, this is a 4-card hand that could definitely cheese some people out, but they're gonna shock. I mean, we can't not play Ensoul Artifact. I don't think playing around Mystical Dispute here is even remotely reasonable, given the fact that we have a 4-card hand. Yeah, there's no way we're playing around it. Our hand only gets worse as the game goes on. So, yeah, all right. I mean, there's nothing we can do there. I think it's 100% correct to play it. The cheese out plan does not work if we slow down, because we need to get ahead of Wrath also. So we need to attack for 6 this turn, 6 next turn, 6 the following turn, and then hopefully draw like a blast or something. So if they got it there. You got to ship. There's just no other option. That's an important point, I think, too. Giving yourself the chance to win games like this by understanding the fail state of your opponent, just like not drawing what they need, essentially. If they brick, giving yourself a chance to win. I think trying to play conservatively there would be a horrible, horrible play, and a losing play in the long run. All right, so that wasn't the worst. Definitely a question if we're going to attack the Ferry or not. I don't think we are. I mean, the threatening thing here is an instant speed Wrath, but that'll be pretty easy to play around, I think. Just going to attack them. Courier puts a card under. Put them to 10. Which is, say multiple of 5, so stranger things have happened, I suppose. Plus Teferi. And say go. So untap, draw. I mean, I guess there are worse cards to draw, so let's fire off the old Thoughtseize. I imagine we're getting Wrath in response to this, and then our Mutavault can get in, and we draw a card, so it could be worse. Hey, that's actually kind of cool. So we Wrath, we Thoughtseize. They've got another Time Raveler, a Dispute, and a Cast Out. They also have an Ardent Veil, though. That's pretty bad for us. Take the Cast Out. And then, I guess we're going to Courier again. We lose the ability to Mutavault attack, so we're missing out on a point of damage here, but getting a card under Courier seems pretty nice. Just fishing for Shrapnel Blast here. The fact that we're in this game at 4 cards is actually unbelievable. And they had the perfect answer on turn 1. So they're going to bounce my Courier, which is fine. And play Field of Ruin. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't think we have any basics in our deck. Which is probably a deck building error, honestly. I don't think playing 1 island is that big of a, that difficult of a cost, but sure. So they have Dispute, Ardenvale, Teferi Time Raveler. And we drew a land, so we can't even dispute my Bomat Courier. Keep poking away, little buddy. We're looking for the miracle here. Do you believe in miracles? That's 8. Really want to get him to 5. Oh my god, Stream Troller. Alright, there's no miracles. I guess the miracle here is drawing like Shrapnel Blast. I don't even know. So I guess it has to be exactly 2 copies of Shrapnel Blast under my Bomat Courier. That's our path to victory this game. So we'll take our 1%er, I guess. It's probably less than that, honestly. We'll use Spire, which doesn't matter what we use. We'll use this, whatever. That is not 2 copies of Shrapnel Blast. All right, I mean, for a game of Mulligan to 4, like, they don't have a dispute on turn 1. We're getting in for at least 6, if not more. So, all things considered, I mean, that game wasn't bad. They had a full 7-card hand as well as the perfect turn 1 answer, which is extremely rare. They have a turn 1 play like that. So, we lost that one, but it didn't feel like that bad of a loss, all things considered. Yeah, but it's definitely a more like all-in version of the deck than the traditional versions, which is going to help us out a lot in synergy mirrors against combo decks, but it's going to hurt us specifically against hard control decks that have a lot of answers, because cards like All That Glitters are high-risk, high-reward cards that don't play well against lots of removal. All right, let's get back on track here. This is an interesting hand, because it's a little light on artifacts. But we've got Glitters, we've got Rebuke. Emry's pretty cool. I think drawing 1 more artifact would help us hand a lot. They mulligan to 6. We're going to keep. It's funny, I'm almost happier with this hand on the draw than on the play. I feel like we need like an extra card or 2. Want to draw like... Even a Darksteel Citadel would be really good, honestly. Any other artifact, though. Courtyard. Oh, man. Okay. So it's the Saram Auras deck, which is probably unbelievably bad for us. Because we don't really have any removal or ways to deal with their things. Yeah, this could be a dirty one. All right, we're gonna fire off Courier. I would definitely trade here, given the option. So our opponent's deck is, the boarding in 4 pushes will help a lot, but opponent's deck is just trying to make a 6/6 lifelinker on turn 2, and we don't handle that very well. Okay. It might be Saraming us here. Yeah. That wasn't bad either, but we don't have any removal, so... I guess we're casting Emry and leaving up Rebuke. Courier, Citadel, Hope, Courier. It's actually not that bad. Hope can actually soft lock them from casting spells, which is kind of cool, honestly. So play that, and we'll just ship the turn because we have no good attacks. And realistically, we're going to hope they just... I don't even know. I don't know if one Rebuke's about enough to stop the onslaught about to happen. They get to just cantrip all of their 1-mana auras and go nuts. We both have our engines online, but alright, that's easy counter. Ethereal Armor is the one we're scared of. It's the best aura in their deck by a lot. But, of course, they cantripped off of it, so they're going to be flush with cards very, very quickly. Griffspoon targeting Alseid of Life's Bounty. So that actually turns off our Hope of Ghirapur. Lock them out of non-creature spells plan. Yeah. It's going to be very difficult to win this game. Okay, I mean, that's certainly the card we were looking for. So I guess we're going to just blast the Alseid of Life's Bounty and just cast some stuff here. We can cast a Hope. Try and set up this Hope block. So we'll sack the Thopter. So get back Hope, which is a little metaphorical for our current game state. Blast this before they untap and have the protection spell up. And if we can... this is an ability, right? Yeah, but if we can get through this turn relatively unscathed, we can enter a loop where we attack with Hope, deal damage to them, sack it, they can't cast non-creature spells, recast it with Emry, and then every turn we can do that, locking them out of non-creature spells. But of course they have to, like, not make a huge creature here, so... Well, never mind. They made a Vigilance Flyer creature, which turns that plan off as well. Yeah. Oh boy. We are dead again because they have, even if they didn't have the protection spell for Saram, we can't really kill it. It would require drawing Shrapnel Blast this exact turn. Yeah, okay. Tough game there. The Saram Auras deck is a weird deck in that it's kind of similar to what we're doing, but better in a mirror because they have lifelinkers and their creatures are bigger than ours, where it's kind of going all in on one thing and being like super synergistic. They're also playing all the glitters, but the lifelinkers really swing it. So if it's a no interaction on no interaction matchup, they certainly are favored. We have a couple Shrapnel Blasts, but not really much. Now, once our Fatal Pushes come in, then things changes a lot because now we can actually kill things, which is pretty big. I don't like Rebuke. Not really interested in Emry either. This is not really a grindy matchup. Shadowspear is kind of cool, although maybe not necessary. Shrapnel Blast is weird because we're never going to finish them off with Shrapnel Blast. It's more of a removal spell because they have so much lifelink. So I think we don't want these. And then bringing in Shadowspear is pretty cool. That's to go over the top a little bit. I can buy that. Let's try this. Having access to 4 pushes is a pretty big deal. They go big on one creature, and we can actually kill it now. If they make a 6/6, it's no longer game over. It's within our possibility to kill it with Fatal Push, which is pretty nice. Very similar to the mirror we played earlier, where we're not just cold to an Ensoul Artifact. Yeah, I definitely like the idea of trying Venerated Loch's on this deck. Definitely like that idea. Even just building like maybe like a blue. The problem is the lands for a blue-white deck are so bad. There's no Adhikar Waste and there's no Seachrome Coast, which means aggressive 2-color mana bases are bad. Really bad. So even if we were playing just straight blue-white, we'd probably be playing Spire of Industry and Mana Confluence anyway. But the white aggro cards are pretty good. Come on. Alright, well, I don't think we can go to 5 here. I guess we're keeping. And I guess we're shipping the Blade. We'll just try and Ensoul 2 creatures, then push something. It's gotta draw land, obviously, but I just don't think we can go to 5 here, realistically. Let's get rid of the most mana-intensive card. Alright, I mean, having to draw land in our 18 land deck is not an enviable position, but again, I don't think going to 5 is really in the cards here. Sort of a land. Typically one of the weaknesses of Saram Aura is that they're very creature light, so they have a creature light hand here. Can definitely help us out. That's not bad. So ideally they have no creatures. I mean they play no 1-drops. All their creatures are 1-drops for the most part, so definitely a solid chance here. We're gonna put this in the Stonecoil Serpent, I think. We'll put the next one on the Thopter already in play, so we'll keep this in our hand. Let's hope for their hand it's just a bunch of auras. I think Saram number 2 is fine. Barring... Alright, Cartouche is fine. Stonecoil is trample, obviously, and the Thopter is flying, so that's also not the worst. Good news is also they don't really have any lifelink giving enchantments. They have lifelink creatures, but which is usually better for them, honestly, because their creatures already naturally have lifelink, but they don't have any of those yet, so... Opponent's at 2. And Griff's Boon is here to block the flyer. Okay. But Stonecoil Serpent's still pretty big. And they're at 2. They do have 6 cards in hand, which is a monumental amount of cards. Saram is a very powerful creature. Even though auras aren't the best spells ever printed, when they all say draw a card for free, it's pretty good. All the glitters targeting Saram, making it a 6/6 first strike, which happens to be just enough. So we want to draw a mana source here. Then we can Shadowspear on the Stonecoil Serpent, and we'll be good to go. I guess on the flyer it kills them too, so... Any land... I guess all the glitters is fine here too, or Fatal Push. Sure, perfect. So we cast Shadowspear. We'll put it on the flyer? Yeah, sure. Wait, what? Equip here. And attack with our 6 power trample flyer. Alright, not too shabby, not too shabby. A little fortunate on our side, they didn't have a 1-drop, but we mulligan that game. We'll take it, we'll take it. Ooh, wow. We were drawing pretty good there. And the push, our pushes are very, very important. Just gonna leave it. Rebuke's pretty weird. It's kind of like hard to leave Rebuke up. Just we don't have many artifacts that just sit in play aside from our equipment, and a lot of our 1-mana artifact creatures all have haste, so not attacking with them is pretty telegraphing. Good bluff opportunity though. Stonecoil Serpent. Pretty good card. It's good to have a card that scales for us. Also cool how it works with the Ensoul Artifact, where our creature was a 6/6 because it's a 5/5 with 1+1/+1 counter. Nice little synergy there. Dodging Teferi and Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy and Kolaghan's Command and all that stuff isn't too bad either. Okay, so opponent mulligans to 6. Our hand is not great. It does have turn 2 Ensoul. We're going to keep. Their deck definitely has a fail rate, which is nice too, but I think we're just going to Stonecoil on one. We'll see what we draw, what they do and stuff. That is their best 1-drop. There is Hateful Eidolon. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, they draw a card for each aura on it, so that's a rough one. It's pretty interesting. Now we can Ensoul Artifact the Ornithopter, which is a pretty good clock. We can't Courier, obviously, because they have a 1/2. Playing Serpent for 1 is not even that appealing. I think we're just playing Ghostfire Blade and playing Ornithopter and saying go. They have turn 2 Saram here. I think we're in huge trouble. Alright, so the problem, of course, is that Hateful Idol has lifelink, and if they just make it really big, we're Fatal Push or Bust. So they don't have a second aura, which is like good or bad, because they could just have push or something like that. Oh, they have an All Seed of Life's Bounty. All right. More lifelinkers. I guess we're just looking at Ensoul Artifact on the Ornithopter. I mean, it's not pretty. I mean, we're really shoving all in here, and our hand isn't even that good because they're going to be gaining a lot of life on the backswing. But, we could set up a Bomat Courier block where we sacrifice it, they don't gain life, maybe. Oh, man. They're going to put the eyes on the Warrior and not the Hateful Eidolon. Not a lifelinker. They're spreading it out here. It's interesting. Okay. That wasn't bad. They're still going to draw off of the Hateful Eidolon, which is not good, but can't let them untap. They can just protect whatever they have anyway. Play Courier. I think we just equip and push the Hateful Eidolon. We could equip the Courier, but they're just going to pump this thing up anyway. Yeah. Definitely am not in love with this turn. Really gotta hope they break off for a turn or two here. They only have one card in hand, so... Stonecoil's not great in this matchup. Maybe we could have like shaved down Stonecoil. I'm not sure what we would have brought in, but just don't really have a time to use it. I should let the blast in, maybe. So we said the lifelink makes trying to burn them out not really a great strategy. I guess no auras before combat is a good sign, right? This is turn 4. They missed a land drop too. They have all spells in hand. I don't know, folks. Look a little scary here. That's pretty good. Ephemia, which will make a 2/2 zombie every turn by exiling an enchantment from the graveyard. That's really good. I am no longer exactly sure how we're going to win. I think we're just playing a large serpent. Can't really attack anymore, but the Thopter can play defense reasonably well, I suppose. Oh. They are certainly firing on most cylinders here. I mean, it's a pretty big boost, but it does not kill them. I suppose putting it on the Stonecoil, it's plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 10 power trampler, but I don't even think that's good enough. I think we're just playing to the Serpent and saying go. Maybe we try and one-shot them, but I think making this a 3/3 is pretty important because they have a bunch of 2/2s, so I should just be dead on board here. I think we're just dead. I should just dead on board. We'll see if they kill us or not. We were dead on board anyway, so they just have 3 extra attackers and we're at 4, so not a not a great matchup. Does not seem, but yeah. All right, so they just do what we're trying to do better, realistically. Is their deck better than ours? I mean, they're different in ways. I think our deck's better against combo decks and things like that, but when it comes down to just raw, we're not going to interact. We're going to slap stuff on creatures and make things as big as possible. Can you deal with this? They just do that better than us. So that's a tough one. It's a tough one. Promising start, but rough middle here. Let's see if we can bookend this with some wins. The deck does seem a little all in, which can be good and bad. You know, I think that Pioneer is pretty combo-y right now. You know, with the inverter decks and Heliod combo and Lotus Field Underworld Breach combo, and this deck seems good in a format of that. But we've played against some very control-y decks and then some very linear-y aggro decks. And a few rough ones too, but all right, let's finish strong here. We've got another Ornithopter hand. Opponent mulligans to 6. We're going to keep Courier, Blade, Thopters, all reasonable. Forest, Llanowar Elf. Okay. I would hope that we're reasonably good here. Rebuke is not bad. Play Courier, attack, see what happens. I would trade with my Courier for their elf here in a heartbeat, so... Alright, cool. Cast 1 Ornithopter, set up for Ghostfire Blade attack or Rebuke. Burning Emissary. I mean, we weren't going to be able to get through that Courier very well anyway, but alright, so they're like to play into the Devotion deck. Should make our Rebuke pretty good here. And I guess we're just going to set up for that. We're not going to play Ghostfire Blade. That just screams that we have Rebuke. I guess we are. Yeah, whatever. It's like super obvious we have it. But I mean, I think us doing nothing and saying go is super obvious too, so... Rebuke is a pretty obvious counterspell. It's pretty hard to make it, you know, a surprise. Wolf Willow Haven. Certainly good with Voyaging Satyr. Yikes. Getting in for 2. And I guess we'll move it over here. Still have our Rebuke up. Have a nice blocker. Very powerful. There's Nykthos. So they have a lot of mana, which can possibly push through my Rebuke. But their last card's Llanowar Elves. So... Okay. Yeah, this is both of our hands seem pretty anemic here. 5 lands. I feel like we've drawn a lot more Ornithopters than we've drawn Ensoul Artifacts and Metallic and all the glitters. Oh my god. Alright. Yeah, that's another Ornithopter. You know, we really want to draw a mixture of the two, not all Ornithopters. And all that glitters or Ensoul Artifact will be phenomenal right now. Oh god. Karn with 3 mana up. Just a little Stony Silence. No big deal, I guess. No big deal, I guess. Oh, man. Let no one say that I curate my content for only the matches that I win. You know? This has been a pretty rough league. But, you know, between... I think our draws have been a little uneven. The deck is definitely a little risky. But, you know, a little more on the Ornithopters, a little less on the good cards. You know, we're drawing the enablers, not the payoffs. And then, some mulligans here, some kind of rough matchups. And then, of course, just, you know, the main deck Stony Silence. That's 4, not 5. Can't guess that Sky Sovereign. Which is funny, because I almost wish you could, because I'd be able to counter it. But... Alright, so activated abilities of artifacts that we control cannot be activated. So our Citadel is a piece of garbage. Our Ghostfire Blade is equipped but cannot be equipped otherwise. Oh man. So we get to rebuke their boat. I think we will. That's 4, 5, 6. No, I think they have exactly enough to make it so they can pay for the leak by Nykthosing again. So next turn, up to one target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature. So that's going to make my Ghostfire Blade fall off. Oh, man. It's cute. It's cute play. Vivian Arcbow Ranger. It's funny. I tapped the Citadel for the improvise. Something. I mean, that is something. I suppose that would allow us to kill Karn. It's not pretty. This frees our Ghostfire Blade and our... That's basically it, I guess. That doesn't work. Okay. A creature or an equipment that's a creature cannot be equipped to another creature. That is exceedingly awkward. I feel like if you asked me that, I would have known that, but in the heat of the moment, I think we're dead, folks. We're about to get voted. Yeah, definitely a payoff deck. You know, this is the kind of deck where you really got to draw your payoffs. And unfortunately, we've not done that this game. Just 6 lands, 3 Ornithopters. Don't really have a good way of stopping the boat here. I guess we just keep poking away. I mean, Mutavault trading with the Burn Tree Emissary is like actively good for us, so kind of fine firing that in too. Trying to work ourselves into like a double Shrapnel Blast window to win. Now the question is, do we cycle the Bomat Courier? We just attack with it and then just sacrifice it after they block. And is that better than a Courier in play? Because they could crew and kill it. I suppose I could also post-combat move the Ghostfire Blade to the Courier. It's not really that good either, though. Still dies to the triggered ability on Sky Sovereign, which is a lightning bolt effect. I'm so dumb. I forgot they can crew defensively. Stupid. I was only thinking about them attacking with it, obviously. All right, I mean, we're just super dead this game. We're just like trying to play to like ridiculous like triple Shrapnel Blast runner outs. This seems bad for us because they have 4 copies of Karn in their deck, and they have a lot of mana to pay for mana leaks, and they have a bunch of Karns to turn all our cards off. But at the same time, if we draw Ensoul Artifact or all the glitters, it might be fine. This is probably a Thoughtseize matchup. I don't think that Rebuke or Emry is very good here. I don't think trying to counter stuff is reasonable because it's just hard to leave up the Rebukes, and they just have a lot of mana, honestly. And then as far as cutting a card, we got a Serpent, I think. The Serpent's underperformed a little bit. We've had a lot to do with our mana. Alright. Let's try this again. They're definitely a payoff deck if you can just take the one payoff, hopefully, with the Thoughtseize. I guess he's getting a Blade, too, actually. In case they have Karn, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I actually would like to go first. Thank you for asking. Okay, this hand is a lot better. A lot better than the last one. We're going to keep this one. So, get to Ensoul on 2. I think we want to... I want to Hope over Gingerbrute. Hope on 1 and Soul on 2. Obviously, we like the idea of couriering, but I don't want to put the Ensoul Artifact in the Courier. Alright, so 4-turn clock starting on turn 2. Burning Emissary is pretty good. Of course, sets up for future Nick those turns. It's pretty good too. Would love to draw Thoughtseize here. Thoughtseize would be clutch. Also not bad. And now the question is, does the All Declarers go on the Hope or on the Gingerbrute? Currently +5/+5. I kind of like it on the Brute, honestly. Just split up our damage here a little bit, and of course the Brute can be unblockable on future turns. Put it all on the Hope, and they have some sort of disenchant or something that really mucks us up. And if they chump here, it's kind of fine too, because we can just lower the devotion. And we're still getting it on chunks of 5 anyway, so they're taking it. All right, so they're looking for a big turn this turn, and they are pretty well set up for it. What can they do that stops both the things in play? There is no Ensnaring Bridge in this format. Oh my god, is there a Ratchet Bomb? Oh no. You know what? I think I might have screwed up. I think sacrificing Hope of Ghirapur there was actually, once they didn't block, we sacked the Hope, might actually won this game. Obviously, the thought of sacrificing my 5/5 flyer seems crazy, but with them not chump blocking with Burning Emissary, and our Brute being lethal next turn anyway, I doubt there are many creatures. You could have like Reclamation Sage, things like that make them survive, but definitely turns off a lot of their outs. They just got a boat, and they're dead on board, so... Now, of course, if they have a Shatter, that's a huge cost. If I do that, and they have a Return to Nature or something like that, they can just kill my creature on my turn and we lose. So it's definitely a cost to it, but... Alright, I mean... I assume they have a Return to Nature, we're going to kill them, so... Oh, I can't activate the Gingerbrute. That's bad. Alright, well, if they have Return to Nature here, we are in trouble. This is tense. Just kidding. I think it's a scoop lag moment. It's not actually tense at all. Whew. All right. Well, we got that one. Just gonna run that back. I don't think our couriers are very good. Seems pretty hard to get. You know, they have a lot of blockers like every turn, but I don't think I want to lower my creature count really. I mean, Fatal Push isn't the worst if you kill like a Llanowar Elf or just try and buy us a turn or two. I don't think I like it though. I mean, it's funny because the pushes go well with the couriers if we can like plow the road a little bit. I could see cutting Overseer on the draw. Maybe let's do that. This really lowers our artifact count a pretty heavy amount, but they don't actually have any removal, realistically. And going all in on one big threat really isn't that crazy. You should have a Ghostfire Blade maybe for the fourth push. Trying to like lessen the impact of Karn as well. Yeah, maybe we actually cut like 2 Ghostfire Blades. I don't know. They're alright. Let's try this. On the draw, I think having the removal spell is not the worst. You know, it's a way to slow them down. Could have like a good Ornithopter drum opening, push their Llanowar Elf, untap, play Ensoul Artifact or all that glitters. Kind of like a weird combo deck, honestly. Oh man. Now we draw all the payoffs. Just want a nice even mix, you know? Just nice even mix. We can't keep this end. Opponent mulligans to 6. We're going to mulligan too. Oh boy. Alright. With them on 6, obviously Thoughtseize is pretty good. I think we're going to keep this end. And we're probably going to ship a hub. I mean, Stonecoil Serpent's got some serious work to do, but drawing either all the glitters or Ensoul Artifact would be very, very big game. They're going to keep 6. We're going to keep 2. We're going to ship a hub. Having 2 interactive spells, them down a card on the play, is certainly helpful. No 1-drop. Okay. Well, that was really good. So we go Stonecoil, they go Burning Tree, Satyr, we go Ensoul, and we draw a land, we get to push our Thoughtseize. Yeah, we're going to play the creature. Alright, well, here we are. Just a Satyr, wow. And a Courier. So there's definitely an argument here towards just pushing the Satyr and not playing Ensoul Artifact. I guess the Courier in too, which is kind of a nice little side prize. Can also Thoughtseize. This plays better against like Reclamation Sage because they'll probably just fire it off if they have it. Right, I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna Courier. Wolf Hollow Haven and no land, so pretty big game there. So killing a Satyr, they would have had double tap on the Wolf Hollow Haven. So, and all that glitters. Oh boy. I mean, now we're getting really huge. The problem is, you know, if they have Reclamation Sage, something like that. And really would love the double spell, Thoughtseize and play one of these, but I think we're going to Thoughtseize Blade and set up Ensoul Artifact next turn. They have 4 spells in their hand. Oh boy, and they are spells. Alright, this is all fine. We're taking Jadelight Ranger. They've got Karn, Nissa, Nissa. So they've got some boom booms. And even if they Karn us next turn, we still have the ability to play both of these and have them be relevant. So they drew Llanowar Elf. Okay. think that's pretty good for us, and they really can't afford to block with it, so Courier's free to go. Thopter, sure. So we can Ensoul on the Serpent and get in. And put them to 9 and set up for the kill next turn. Feels pretty good. I guess they're not dead on board. They are dead on board. They don't know that, I'm saying. So playing Karn here and getting a Darksteel Citadel. Sure. Their end is Nissa card, which is not going to be good enough. It glitters up on the Thopter, probably. Don't think it matters. Attack them for 1 million, and there you go. In the face of Karn, the Great Creator. So, glad we got the bookend there with some wins. Had some rough ones in the middle there, but deck's certainly cool. It's definitely an interesting take on Ensoul Artifact in where it's much more aggressive and much more all in. So if you're like the kind of all in player, you want to really just shove it in. Here are my chips. What do you got? This feels much more like that. Although I would like to see some experimentation with maybe Venerated Loxodon. Maybe some of like the white artifact aggro cards. A card like Thraben Inspector seems really cool with Ensoul Artifact. You go turn 1 Inspector, turn 2, make the clue into a 5/5. That's kind of cool. The blasts are weird. They're definitely good, but... And the rebukes are also interesting. I'm not really sure what to do with them or what to make of them. They're pretty transparent, but also good interaction. I don't know. These artifact decks have been pretty puzzling in Pioneer, trying to find the right mix of stuff. But this is definitely the turn the amp to 11 and hit that power chord version of it. No subtleties here. And the sideboard was very good. Thoughtseize and Fatal Push were phenomenal. So a lot of value there. I think Scrounger is also a possibility too. Even if a sideboard. Just a versatile threat in the control matchups. Pretty cool. But that's it for me this week. I am Jim Davis, of course, for CoolStuffInc.com. Appreciate you hanging out with me and watching. I do a video article every Monday here on CoolStuffInc.com, as well as a written article every Friday. Last Friday's article was all about some pretty interesting modern brews. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you sub to the channel, of course. And then go to CoolStuffInc.com proper, where it was a companion article to this video with the full deck list and my thoughts on the deck as well. I'll see you fine folks next week. I'm Jim Davis for CoolStuffInc.com. And don't forget also, promo code Jim5 on Cool Stuff not only gets you 5% off your order, but you get a free Jim Davis Goblin token in the mail with your order as well. Jim5 is the promo code. Check it out, CoolStuffInc.com. I'll see you next week.